Alright, well, welcome to 2-3, Elimination. Okay, in example 1, what number would you multiply negative 2x by to eliminate positive 8x? So basically, we're going to ask two questions here. Question number 1 is going to be, let me go ahead and turn my pen on. Question number 1 is, if we want to eliminate 8x, what we're saying is 8x plus what number gets me to 0. Now you all know that. You know that the opposite of positive 8x is negative 8x. So what are we really saying here? We're saying we want to transform negative 2x by multiplying by some number, and in order to change that into negative 8x. Okay, and whatever we get for this number right here, this will be our answer. And I want to make that abundantly clear because this is my third time shooting the video, and this has been kind of hard to convey. So what is negative 2? Negative 2 times what number would get us to negative 8? Well, it would be a positive 4. So in order to transform negative 2x into negative 8x, we would have to multiply by 4. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's move on to example 2. Okay, in example 2, what number would you multiply 3x by to eliminate 15x? Okay, so here's the first question we're asking. And we're saying, hey, if I want to eliminate 15x, or aka, I want to add some number to it so it equals 0, well, what number would that be? Well, that number would be the opposite of a positive 15x, which would be a negative 15x. Okay, so here's what we're saying. Okay, we're saying we want to multiply 3x by some number so that it equals negative 15x, because that's our goal, is to get to negative 15x. Now, I want to make this abundantly clear. Whatever we are going to multiply it by, that is the answer to our question. So y'all tell me, 3 times what number would get me to negative 15? Well, 3 times negative 5. And that is the number that we're looking for. Alright, let's move on to our next example. Okay, in example 3, what number would you multiply negative 4x by to eliminate negative 7x? So remember, question number 1 says this. We want to get rid of negative 7x. And so what number would you add to negative 7x to get it to be 0? Well, of course, that would be a positive 7x. Okay, and we're saying, hey, negative 4x times what number would equal that positive 7x? Now, I'm going to show you a trick that I'm quite certain most of y'all don't know. And by the way, negative 4x times this number that we're searching for is going to be our answer. Now, here's the cool trick. We can create a fraction where the number that we want to change, we can put that on the bottom, so negative 4, and I'm even going to label that. This will be the number to change. By the way, the hashtag symbol also means the number, but the number to change, and we multiply into the number we want it to become by putting that on top, okay? And so we want to make this into a positive 7x. I'll put this, the number to become. Okay, so guys, if you multiply negative 4x by the fraction 7 over negative 4, you will actually get to 7x. Alright, go ahead, finish taking your notes, and let's move on to the next example. Okay, here we are in example 4. What number would you multiply 7x by to eliminate x? Okay, so remember, here's our first question. X plus what number would equal 0? Well, the opposite of a positive x would be a negative x. And we want to multiply 7x by some sort of number so that we can get it to equal that negative x, because that's our goal to get to. Now let's use our little trick that we learned from last time. Once again, I want to stress the answer to our question will be whatever we multiply 7x by. So, if you'll remember our trick, the number to get rid of is this 7, and the number we want to change to is a negative 1, So that goes on top. And so we will multiply this by negative 1 over 7. Now I want you to move on to our next example, because here is where I'm actually going to prove that that's true. Okay, here's our final example, example number 5. What number would you multiply negative 8 by to eliminate 3x? Okay, now let's ask our very first question. If I want to get rid of the 3x plus what number would equal 0? Well, we know the opposite of a positive 3x is a negative 3x. Okay, so what we're really saying here is we want to multiply negative 8x by some sort of number so that it equals this negative 3x. Now, what's the rule that I've been using for y'all? I've told you, you multiply on the bottom by the number you want to get rid of, that would be negative 8, and you multiply on the top by the number you want it to become, that's negative 3. And by the way, negative divided by negative, you should just change that into a positive. But why does this actually work? Well, let's check it out. If we were to do negative 8x, which is really negative 8 over 1x, times 3 over 8, you would notice something. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24 over 1 times 8 is 8x. And check it out. Negative 24 over 8 actually becomes negative 3x. Alright? And that's why it works out. The real reason that it works out is because we could actually write negative 24 as negative 8 times 3 over negative 8. And remember, when you're multiplying like terms on the top and bottom, those can cancel out and go away. And you're left over with that. Alright guys, I hope this has helped. I know this can be kind of a tricky subject for students to initially grasp. Let me know some feedback. Was this video helpful?